Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Jam, and today I'm gonna talk about the pros and cons of being in the JET program. Okay, pros. Number one, the JET program is backed by the government, by your government and the government of Japan, specifically the Ministry of Education. So when you come to Japan, you're gonna have a lot of support from CLARE, by the Council of Local Authorities for International Relations. Yes, so this is not a private company. You're gonna have the support of the local governments and the main government. What am I saying? Okay, number two, the flight from your country to Japan is covered. So you don't have to pay for your own ticket to get to Japan. In my case, I only paid the flight. I only paid for the flight from my home city to Manila, and then there I met the other Filipino jets, and we flew to Japan together. I know that there were some Filipino jets though who flew from Cebu City, so I guess it depends on your country. Okay, JET, or your school or board of education, if you're a public school jet, they will be the ones to pay for your transportation from Tokyo, where you will have the orientation, to your placement. So I know some jets who had to fly to their some jets who had to fly to the countryside, or Sapporo, or some jets took the Shinkansen to their placement. So you don't have to worry about paying for those things. Okay, number three, your hotel stay and orientation costs are covered by the program or your school. I'm not sure. Joking, okay? But I do know that you don't have to pay for it. When we came to Japan, our orientation was at the Keio Plaza Hotel. That's a very expensive hotel. Didn't have to pay for that. The rooms were very nice. There were 3 of us in a room, and we were there for a few days. We also had seminars and orientation. The meals were free, and we ended at like 4 or 5 in the afternoon. So we had a lot of time in the evening to go around the Shinjuku area. Okay, number 4. In my case, as a Tokyo jet, I had a short stay at a hotel before I was able to get the keys to my apartment, because the apartment application process is kind of long and I was not used to it. And anyway, this is all for all Tokyo jets, Tokyo private school jets. We were placed in hotels across Tokyo. Some Tokyo jets were together in a hotel. I think I was the only one in my hotel. I didn't know anyone. If there were other Tokyo jets there, I didn't know. But for the public school jets in Tokyo, they had a homestay. So they stayed with a Japanese family for, I think it was around 2 weeks or almost 2 weeks, and that was mandatory. So they had to stay with that host family for a certain period of time before they could move to their apartment. For the private school jets, the hotel stay was not mandatory. If we found an apartment during that time, we could just leave. Number 5, the JET program offers a higher salary. Salary. The JET program offers a higher salary compared to what you would get if you were to apply to a private company or private dispatch company. At least that's what I heard. Okay, I'll link the main website for the JET program below, where you will find you will find more information about the salary and other stuff. Okay, number 6, teaching license and experience are not required, as far as I know. Like, they're not only going to accept teachers, so don't worry if you don't have a teaching license, if you don't have a bachelor's degree in education, or if you don't have formal teaching experience. That's okay. Now, it is a competitive program, so you will need something to give you an edge over other applicants, because some applicants do have teaching experience and or certification. I know that among the Filipino JETs, most of us are licensed teachers or have had like several years experience teaching something. Okay, number 7, a Japanese proficiency certificate is also not required, which was a good thing for me because I did not have a certificate of a Japanese language proficiency. When I applied, I was doing an online course for an online Japanese course, but that was free. That was online. But like I said, it's a competitive program. There are not that many vacancies, slots every year, so you're gonna have to fight for a position. So if you have the time and the money, do try to do a Japanese course. Okay, now let's go to the cons. Of course, this is a good program, but it's not perfect. And if you really love Japan, you might have high expectations and you might get disappointed when you come here and those expectations are not met. So number 1, you can't exactly choose your placement on the JET program. So on the application form, they'll ask you for 3 placement preferences. There is no guarantee that you will get the placement that you want because it's not really up to you, it's up to the schools and the kind of JET that they want for their school. Like, I guess if they want a JET who has experience teaching elementary, teaching high school, this and that. So it just depends. So don't get, so hung up on one particular placement. Okay, number 2 for cons. Not every JET will have a subsidized apartment. Did you even know you can get a subsidized apartment? But yeah, most JETs who are employed under the Board of Education, public school JETs in the countryside and other areas, I think most of them get to live in teachers' housing, so that's cheaper than a regular apartment. During our orientation, our pre-departure orientation back in Manila in the Philippines, one of the speakers was a JET living in Gifu, and he paid less than 10,000 yen a month for his apartment. It was a huge apartment, well, around I think it was 3 LDK, 2 LDK, 3 LDK, somewhere around that area. Most people pay around 50,000 to 60,000 yen for a good apartment, a good sized apartment. For Tokyo apartments or big city apartments, they come unfurnished. So there is nothing in your apartment when you get there, and you've spent like 200,000 yen to get your apartment, to get your keys. When you get inside, there's nothing there, so you'll have to like make do with the futon or something. But you can get some furniture from Sayonara sales and other bargain sites. Okay, next, the program is only for 5 years. That's right, it's 5 years. 5 years. Well, for the Filipino jets anyway, I think most jets, you're only up to 5 years. I think American jets, I heard somewhere that they can reapply to the jet program after a few years. But for us Filipinos, we only get 5 years. And not even that long if your school or Board of Education won't offer you the contract for your for your 4th or 5th year. So it's something you have to think about. Something you have to consider. Are you leaving behind a really good permanent or stable job in the Philippines to do the jet program? Even if this program will offer a higher salary. So it depends. It depends what your goals are, depends what you're trying to do, what you want to achieve in Japan. If you want to live here, if you want to use this as a stepping stone for bigger opportunities abroad. So it depends on you. Okay, next, there are many rural placements. So I think most jets are placed in the countryside. And because this is a government program, like I said, so the Japanese government wants to help schools in the far-flung areas with their English education system. That's why it's very helpful if you're okay with being placed in the countryside. If you're the kind of person who won't survive being the only foreigner in town, who needs to go out and party every night, you'll have to reconsider this program. If you decide to withdraw after you learn your placement, I know that for the Philippines, you won't be considered for the program the next time you apply. Applications generally open in October. Deadlines are in January, and you hear from them at the end of January and beginning of February if you passed the first stage. So they'll invite you for a demo and interview, and then after that you'll have to wait till the middle of March to know if you passed the second stage, the interview and demonstration stage. And then after that you will have to submit other documents, and then after that you're gonna have to wait for your placement, wait to see where you'll be teaching and working. And then after that you're gonna get flown out to Japan around late July, early August, although there are some jets, I think American jets, who get flown out to Japan in April. That's like a different, they have a different process, I'm not sure. And so this is the last con. It depends, or it varies from country to country. The application process depends on your government or your consulate. Sometimes they will change that. So you're gonna have to do your research when it comes to the application process of your country or consulate. Also, not every country is part of the JET program. Okay, so yeah, I think those are the general pros and cons of being in the JET program. And if there are other things you would like to learn about the JET program or about teaching in Japan or living in Japan in general, just write down in the comments section. I'll try to make a video about it or give a response. Okay, so thank you so much and see you next time.